Hey gang, I'm really excited to bring you this mail call. I'm going to talk about the 2021 P Tuskegee Airman burning building strike-through error. Thanks to this guy on eBay, I was able to knock this one off my bucket list. I've been waiting for 2 years to buy one of these things.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
All right, I'm going to do a little bit of a shout-out video here for this gentleman on eBay. His name is Dorian Leonard. This is the package that I received. I purchased 3 burning building Tuskegee Airman 2021 Philadelphia minted quarters. This is, if you don't know already, this is the strike-through error that makes it look like the building's on fire, like those airplanes flying over are bombing that hangar, right? So this was turned into the burning building. And, when these things first hit the market, I didn't know about them until after I discovered the crown here in Michigan. So that was in the middle of the year 2021. And when I found a crown, I started doing some research on that. And then I found out about this burning building. As a matter of fact, Blue Ridge Silverhound is the one that kind of turned me on to that. And I've been watching Blue Ridge Silverhound pretty much ever since. And that guy is just fantastic with his. So there's a shout out to Blue Ridge. I was never really into error coins until I found a batch of crowns in a fresh box of quarters from the Federal Reserve I picked up at the bank, and the entire box was 2021 P Washington crossing the Delaware, and I had a few crowns in there. I was shocked. I didn't know what it was, and I started doing research, but as a result of finding the crowns, I found out about the burning building, and I've wanted one of these ever since. So now, 2.5, almost 3 years later, I finally purchased some. I do know that I've been looking really hard. As if you guys are following me on YouTube here, I search sometimes $3,000 in quarters a week, and sometimes none. And I've had to slow down on the quarters, but I can tell you, I have never found a burning building here in Michigan. I found the crown, and you can't get the crown in other parts of the nation, especially on the West Coast. But here in Michigan, I found those, but I can't find these. So it's finally, I crossed this one off the bucket list. Me and Dorian Leonard had been emailing back and forth, negotiating a price, right? His listing said best offer, so I made an offer. I always lowball. Of course you're going to lowball. That's what we do. As a coin roll hunter, we are used to buying collectible coins at face value. So you got to find a comfortable medium. Am I going to pay $300 for one of these? No. I waited. We know that if you wait long enough, the price of coins will level off. Errors like this, there is no data to suggest that this is rare. I mean, I know it's rare. You should know it's rare. We know that the West Point quarters are rare, right? 2 million copies of one style of quarter is rare because there are estimates that there are over 40 million coin collectors in the U.S. Now, do they all collect quarters? Well, that remains to be seen. However, to not get away from the mint, they have a quality control system where operator of the press checks those coins periodically, picks one up off the end, and looks at it to make sure that there aren't any anomalies. Now, a big error like the crown or this burning building should have been very noticeable, but it comes at the time when COVID was running rampant and there were shortages of employees working at the mint and everywhere. They were hit as well, and so they still have to keep chunking out quarters. However, the frequency of quality control probably dropped off quite a bit. So instead of somebody standing at one press, and I understand there's 7 of them at the mint, right? There's 7 machines pumping out quarters at a clip of 40,000 a minute or an hour. And so it's one of those things where instead of having 7 guys to constantly monitor the production, they might have 1 or 2 guys walking from press to press and randomly selecting a coin out of the bin and looking at it. Well, these coins made it through the process, and they made it into the public eye. They didn't land here in Michigan, but they did land somewhere down south. So anyway, Dorian was fortunate to have found several of these. Again, the question remains, how many of these are out there? And I can tell you, each one of these is a little bit different. So my understanding is that this strike-through error is like a pile of grease that the feeder finger drags across it would actually be a glob of gunk on the die. So as the coins come through and get stamped out, that chunk of gunk on the die actually obliterates part of the image that's getting stamped into the coin, therefore leaving what in this case looks like the building's on fire. And so you got this one, then you got this one. So you can see that very similar in an anomaly, but they're a little bit smaller, a little bit bigger. So that gunk or gummed up glob of grease is moving. Well, in this case, there was 2 globs. And over the course of time, it'll either be cleared or it gets smaller and smaller until it gets obliterated, right? And so you're going to have different versions of this burning building error. Sometimes you get a blob on the tip of the airplane. It looks like a bomb is dropping. But that's the whole point. The burning building, it is a ironic image because it looks like those planes are actually dropping bombs. Anyway, it is called a strike-through error, and I'm happy to finally have added these to my collection. So let's talk about the package, right? So Dorian Leonard, he has as of today, he's got 53 positive feedbacks. This one says 43. So what I liked about his packaging, he had all 3 of these coins together. They were in the plastic, wrapped in bubble wrap. He also included a shipper, which is something I appreciate because I've bought many things on eBay, and the guys don't. They send the coin loose in an envelope like that, right? That, to me, that's unacceptable. But this guy, he did a great job. So again, shout out to Dorian Leonard. At the beginning of this video, I had his eBay header, so you can look him up. I believe he has a couple more of these available. Let's talk about these 3, right? So we had, as you can see, it's a pretty significant. That's two chunks of grease that were struck through here, which makes it like not only burning, but like the wind is blowing the smoke or whatever. This one, I like this one probably the best because, you know, as flame or smoke, you can call it whatever you will, it trails off, which is kind of cool and very ironic, right? This one is also very similar to that. So I believe these 2 are my favorites. One of these did have a little bit of spotting on it, right? I think that was this one. Yeah, right here. So that really diminishes, but, you know, it's still, we're buying the error more so than the condition of the coin. I mean, these coins could be in much worse condition, and it would still be similar to the crown. You know, I sold several crowns on eBay, and some people are saying, well, the condition, and I'm like, are you buying the coin for its condition, or are you buying the coin for the error? Because the error coin is what you're buying, right? I mean, and again, I talk about the population. The population of these coins, I mean, could easily be 40,000. If there's a guy checking the machine once an hour, those could have ran off 40,000. But in this case, the struck through could have dissipated or cleared up all by itself. With the crown, for instance, the die chip actually grows and it gets bigger until they completely replace the die. In this case, all I had to do was wipe the grease off the die, right? So if that's a pile of grease that's gunking up the face of the die, the operator simply needs to take a rag and wipe the die so that grease bubble is gone, right? It didn't affect the die. But on a die crack, it's pieces of the die cracking away and leaves a void in the image. And when they stamp the coin out, that metal flows into that void. And in the case of the crown, and I will show you a picture of it just to, you know, to know what we're talking about, that metal flows into that void and creates that iconic image of what looks like a crown. Also, speaking of the crown, there are people that think that the hat that George Washington is wearing in that iconic image is a crown. No, it's called the tricon. It is the standard wear for military of the day. That is not the crown. So when you call it a crown, I see people talk about it on social media all the time. It is not a crown. The term crown was coined by the guy here in Michigan who first found and listed the first crown die chip area. And it's a very large die chip that actually obliterates part of the letters in E pluribus unum. But it does make the tricon look like a royal crown, right? So anything less than the full crown should not and cannot be termed a crown. Just my little rant right there. Okay. So I took these images from the eBay listing, and the 3 coins that he had listed, the second one here had a couple black spots on, and I expressed concerns about that, and I believe he actually changed it out, and he gave me one with less spotting. This is the difference between the 2 2021 Ps with the burning building and then the Washington crossing the Delaware. Just to be clear, strike-throughs leave holes in the design, and cracks leave raised surfaces in the design. This is the front and back. This was the last of the American the Beautiful series. And then this was a transitional quarter. with the Washington crossing the Delaware. So these are the transitional obverse designs. And then in 2022, they did another transition to yet another obverse design. Search Dorian up on eBay. Hey, before you go, don't forget to smash that like button. Also check me out on Facebook at Coin Mojo's Coin Roll Hunting, where you can share and start a discussion. eBay, JDK Collectibles-CM, where I sell most of the coins that I find coin roll hunting. Like, comment, share, hit that bell for notifications. Thanks for coming to Coin Mojo. See you next time. Coin Mojo out.
Yeah, baby, yeah!